Thank you, Annalise. I was inducted into this honorable organization when I was an undergraduate, and I was telling Dr. Lane that I remember I was, I think, a junior in college, and a friend from high school who was a first year came by my dorm room to say hello. All the really hard partying guys on our campus were a member of this organization, a fraternity called Sig Tau. And I had my certificate from Sigma Tau Delta on my desk, and my friend Nancy happened to see it there, and with this newfound look of respect and admiration in her eyes said, "Oh my God, are you in Sig Tau?" And I said, that's the National English Honor Organization, to which you could just see this sort of respect drain out of her eyes, and this look that said, "Oh, that's the Leo I knew in high school," right? My warm memory of Sigma Tau Delta from my undergraduate years. Well, I want to offer tonight my warmest congratulations, students, upon your induction into Sigma Tau Delta. Your membership in this society is a significant honor and speaks to your commitment to excellence, which is a way of approaching life with meaning and purpose. I am proud of you all. If I have two main messages to deliver tonight, they are first, to speak against the increasingly narrow way American society thinks about the purposes of higher education. And second, I want to express concern about what a lousy job we in the academy are doing in counteracting messages in the media and throughout society that the humanities are impractical and a surefire way back to your parents' basement and employment as a barista. I understand higher education is expensive and that the people who pay the bills for college, and especially students and parents, want to see great outcomes, like good jobs and opportunities for advanced degrees. I join them in that expectation. But we cannot forget that a university education is about so much more, like preparation for citizenship and the encouragement of the love of knowledge for its own sake, an appreciation of what is beautiful or wonderfully complex or true. But increasingly and worryingly, the messages too many students are receiving about university education are reduced to, you need to get a job, so be sure to major in something practical, like business. What is being left out of these short-sighted considerations are important questions, like, what subjects are students passionately curious about? What are students' goals? And what are the most interesting and distinctive paths students can take to reach these goals? You are English majors, so I do not have to explain to you what narrative is. What I hope for each of you is that you will have a polished draft of your own bold personal narrative before you leave Elon, and that it will be built upon exposure to a broad array of challenging academics, rich experiences in the world, like driving a van off the cliff in New Zealand, as we were talking about at dinner tonight, deep reflection, and linked to your passions, dreams, and your most heartfelt goals. Frankly, it doesn't really matter what your major is. We, of course, have a bias towards English and reading and literature and writing and all of those good things. But what really matters is that you are the author of your own story, and that you can tell that story with passion and conviction, and hopefully your story is linked to goals to pursue after leaving Elon that will be meaningful and compelling to you, and that also may make our society a better place. Fortunately, I meet students and alumni every day who are doing amazing and creative work stemming from their backgrounds in the humanities, and are often finding ways to bring multiple disciplines together in novel and powerful ways. Last spring, I interviewed Lucy Crenshaw for a Lumen Prize. Lucy is a double major in classical studies and accounting. What impressed me about her interview was that she was so fully aware as a sophomore of how a deep grounding in the humanities was going to make her a much better public accountant. When you work for a big firm like KPMG, you have to understand much more than the numbers. You need to be able to decipher complex organizations, understand why systems or processes break down sometimes, to know how to read people, and to write extraordinarily well, so to be able to make the complex understandable. I think a background in English and the humanities is perfect preparation for such complex work and leadership within organizations. Similarly, I had coffee in Los Angeles last April with Amy Good, class of 14, who came to Elon as a history major and graduated Phi Beta Kappa. She knew she didn't want to teach, but her parents encouraged her to pursue her passion, history. During her first semester at Elon, she took a statistics course, and Professor Laura Taylor suggested she should think about possibly a double major, so she did. And Amy also liked sociology, so she took a minor there too. Planner that she was, Amy decided to pursue a career in business, and so took advantage of internship opportunities in LA to build connections to the business world. She's now a research manager for Bovitz Incorporated in LA, a really interesting business consulting company. And Amy told me it was the perspective that she brought to the table as a history major that made her perspective on her research team unique and valuable. Similarly, I had breakfast in Manhattan recently with Alex Trower, the chair of the board of trustees of Hollins University, who's a vice president at Estee Lauder, and who was an art history major in college. We spent considerable time talking about the question of why graduates with humanities degrees are not told more regularly that they can do anything they set their minds to professionally, including leadership in business, as business executives, leadership in government and politics, as entrepreneurs, and much more. Why instead do we associate majors in the humanities only with teaching on one hand, which is a noble and honorable profession, and many other forms of underemployment on the other hand? This is crazy. In an informal survey of CEOs of major corporations in the Triad done recently, a stunning 86% had undergraduate majors in the arts and sciences, not in business. Obviously, we need to do a much better job to help students understand that it is perfectly okay to walk into the Student Professional Development Center and say, I want to major in English, or art history, or philosophy, and I want to work for Goldman Sachs, or be a US Senator, or the 10th president of Elon. Help me make a plan to do that. And they will be happy to do that. Tom Brinkley is fond of saying, we have 1,000 finance majors on this campus. We do not need 1,001. Goldman Sachs needs philosophy majors in their employ, and Tom will help you get there, and English majors, of course. With the right combination of academic study, powerful experiential learning opportunities that we offer here at Elon in abundance, such as undergraduate research and internships and study abroad, and the influence of good mentoring and networking, you can reach your goal. Now let me focus a little more directly on the English major. Keep these ideas in mind, students, as you plan your futures. The people who will prosper in the 21st century will do non-routine cognitive work and non-routine manual work. Routine work will be done through artificial intelligence and robotics. An English major is a perfect background for preparing to do non-routine work. You are prepared to do critical analysis, to understand the human condition, to be exemplary communicators, to be creative, to cherish ideals like justice and mercy, and to see fresh approaches to sticky problems, and much more. I'm convinced the future belongs to the creative. Most of you should live well into your 90s, students, so use your 20s wisely. I watch admiringly at Elon alums who are pursuing something really hard after commencement. For some, it's the beginning of a new career. For others, it's a Fulbright scholarship, 2 years with Teach for America, or the Peace Corps. Whatever your path, do something that will really test your mettle. Risk failure. I'm convinced the future belongs to the courageous. I've been impressed throughout my career with how good writers advance within organizations. This should not be surprising, as good writing reflects sound thinking. Good writers help make the complex clear. They persuade consensus and find the perfect thing to say at the critical moment. If my English degree gave me a lasting gift that has served me throughout my career, it is to care about words. Words are powerful. I'm convinced that the future belongs to the communicators. And what has literature and reading broadly taught me? That we humans have enormous power for good as well as evil. That the human spirit at its finest is indomitable. That humans at their worst can wreak havoc and allow greed and power and hatred to consume them and others. That the human imagination is miraculous. That there's so much more to be discovered in the universe. I'm convinced that the future belongs to those who are immersed in the world of ideas. So, stay creative, be courageous, care about words, and live in the world of ideas. And you will be great. In closing, I want to note that you, as members of Sigma Tau Delta, have a marvelous resource in the mentors available to you in the faculty of the Department of English and across the campus. Your mentors can be among the most important guides and inspirations to you at this point in your young lives. And you new members of Sigma Tau Delta can be mentors yourselves to peers at Elon and to help them find their paths. And I ask you to take that responsibility tonight seriously as well. It's been 40 years since I've graduated from college, and I'm still proud that I chose to major in English and was honored to be inducted into Sigma Tau Delta at my alma mater. I hope you will feel the same way in 2057.